na rafana la. 5 simple words, probably the most famous words from this week's Torah portion. With these words, Moses is asking for God to heal his sister Miriam. God na heal na her. Now for some context. Miriam and Aaron are discussing Moses and the fact that God has not only spoken through Moses, but through them as well. God overhears this conversation and calls out Miriam and Aaron for speaking against their brother and punishes Miriam with sara'at, that weird, funky skin disease that gets talked about a lot back in Leviticus. Aaron turns to Moses, asking him to intercede on Miriam's behalf, which he does with these 5 words. God na heal na her. This isn't the first time that Moses has interceded with God on the behalf of others, but it is possibly the most striking incident. These are not the words of Moses the orator, the man who eloquently convinces God to not be too hard on the Israelites when they inevitably mess up. These are the words of a younger brother who doesn't know why his sister has been afflicted, but knows that he wants her to be healed. God na heal na her. Okay, by now some of you have noticed that I have purposefully not translated the Hebrew word na. This is where the story gets really interesting. The word na in Hebrew, spelled nun ayin, has 2 meanings. In biblical Hebrew, it can mean please, or it can mean now. If we translate the word na as please, this statement becomes a request. God, please heal her, please. If we translate it as now, it becomes a demand. God, now, heal her now. If we translate it, so my question for all of you is, which one is it? Which version do we think Moses intended for us to take away? Well, since there's no intonation in the Torah is not going to give us a straight answer, and I think that's on purpose. We have all faced moments where we need to decide, request or demand. What is the best way to get our point across? Which one will be received most effectively? I'm sure most of us in our lives can think of times when the request worked better than the demand, and the demand worked better than the request. But I want to propose a third path. Can we bring the force of a demand together with the sincerity of a request? When I study this passage, here's how I most often hear Moses' words in my own head. God, please heal her now. Moses is both requesting the healing of his sister, but he's also advocating for the urgency of the matter. Tzara'at is not a simple disease to be handled by any stretch of the imagination, and Moses knows how difficult this will be in the coming days for her. So, how can we then take that third path? Can we figure out how to demand while still having the sincerity of a request? I don't have a good answer for this. My hope is that we can all find our way to that third path. But sometimes, especially right now, that feels really hard. We want our voices to be heard. We feel like the only way to do that is by demanding. And sometimes we can also feel like requesting. By asking, by being kind, we can get our point across better. So my hope for this Shabbat, as all of us go do whatever activities we're going to be going to do, especially tomorrow, that we remember to keep both of these concepts with us, that we keep demand and request in our hearts as we go about this Shabbat and hopefully continuing to make the world a little bit better. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.